to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I want to do a follow-up video on the situation between the West Australian Government and the law-abiding gun owners of Western Australia. I went through the breakdown of what we'd actually had last time, where we had a confiscation or a buyback, a banning of some long-range cartridges, which were some high-power long-range cartridges. One's essentially worked out to have what the police deemed as too much energy at long range to potentially be a threat to public safety. And I went through the state of where that's not very logical in given all the things that are going on. But really the big nutshell of things is it comes down to the government making rules for the law-abiding citizens of Western Australia and not involving the people in those decisions. So I won't go any further than that. This follow-up video is to go through and answer some of the questions that came with that video. One was, even though it's sort of done, it happened in the middle of the year, happened on the 1st of July in 2023. Here's the list of calibers or cartridges, chamberings, that was actually banned. That is the list. The other thing that was asked all the time was, how can people help, or how can people find out more, and where to find information. I did last video, but in this video, if you go below, you'll see there's a link to an e-petition, or basically a petition to put to the government to say, listen, this is not okay. And I think that one's basically saying the laws that they're trying to put through are being rushed. They need more time and proper consultation to make sure that happens in a process that makes more sense. There's other petitions, I think, out there which are about saying these laws are wrong and putting forward to the public that a lot of the stuff that they're trying to put forward doesn't make any sense, isn't in anyone's best interest, least of all the gun owners, but certainly it isn't in any fashion good for the public or anything. And of course, having a government that is making, or civil servants that are making decisions for us without asking us, is also a bad situation. So there's a link to that. I'll also put down there whether they're links or just the place we're talking about, and whether that's the West Australian Firearms Community Alliance, or that's the National Shooting Council, or that's SSAA. Down below here you'll find all those bits and pieces as to where you can find out more information. Link to, like I said, there's an e-petition to sign onto that, to more numbers attached to that, to get the government to actually start to listen to the people. And I suppose the other thing which I've heard also, there was a little bit I heard from particularly the east coast of Australia saying, oh, that'll never happen here because, that's not how it is. Our state doesn't look at things that way. I would have to stress that it has been brought to our attention in several fashions that it very much is a test case, what they're doing in Western Australia and what the police are trying to get happen in Western Australia, see how that all lands, and then really take that across the country. All the police departments have been in cahoots. They have been talking together. There is that sort of stuff. As to what happens or doesn't happen, listen, who knows? That is the future. But the real thing, as we're hearing from some of the organisations over east, they know they want to be part of this as well. They want to be part of stopping what's happening here, making it make sense. Making the laws make sense doesn't mean that some shouldn't be changed, but it should be done with the shooters in mind. And keep in mind, as mentioned before, and I also got from a lot of comments on the video as well, was it isn't just the firearms owners. It is, as I mentioned, the four-wheel drivers, the fishers, the fisheries, the fishermen, I heard mountain bike trails, there's hiking trails, there's all sorts of stuff that are being stopped. There's definitely lots of parts of land all over Australia, particularly Western Australia at this moment, that are being shut off to the general public. Stuff that you could go, places you could go that you can't go anymore. This is to do with the cultural heritage sites and things like that, but it actually comes down to a simple thing, this same thing. Government starting to make decisions and not doing it to a small group's interest rather than to West Australia's interest, or the people of Western Australia's interest. So all that sort of stuff is, I suppose, the simple thing comes down, and I'm hearing some of that too, and on the ground as well, is as much as there is petitions, as much as there is starting to be some stuff on on the media, the mainstream media, the sheeple media, however you want to look at it. But there is starting to be comments about this, and there's starting to be some members of parliament that are saying, hey, you know, this is the wrong thing. It's starting to be pushed through. This is being rushed. This isn't how good laws happen. This is how bad laws happen, by rushing things through for other ulterior means or motives. But starting to hear those things, but they, as everyone is saying, we need to hear more. There just needs to be more of this sort of stuff. And keep in mind, whether you're the North Queensland or you're Tasmania or wherever it is, this stuff is really likely to spread everywhere. So the more we stand as to really say and be noticed in whatever form that is, whether that's a large gathering, whether that's just writing things in, whether that's being part of a petition, all these things are going to matter. Obviously be the best people we can be in any format if we're going to be seen, you know, stand with our wives and girlfriends and everybody else. It is us. It's not just the big hairy fellas that are the problem here. It is everybody that are in the crosshairs of this, and you excuse the pun of crosshairs in this given situation, but it is the nature of it. It is our freedoms, it is our recreation, it is still our wonderful Australia that we want to keep as a free country, and that's sort of really where this focus needs to go. But I suppose it's not for me to push down that road. I, as a channel, have to be careful in what I'm sort of saying down that road in the way of looking for guidance, in looking for information. There's some links down there, but largely you'll find organisations in your area. We'll be talking about this is relevant, and if there's things happening in your area, your state, your city, wherever it is, then it might be coming from your club, it might be coming from other clubs. But the more we get together, the more we get on the same page, and then we are aligning ourselves with, like I said, it's not just a shooters club, it might be a four-wheel drivers club, it might be a hikers club, it might be a fisheries club, it might be a fisheries organisation, a sporting group, a recreational group, a hunting group, or whatever it is of what we're doing, where we are all in those crosshairs, we stand together as one. Then that's something that is, listen, it's at this stage we no more than maybe a shot across the bow, but hopefully really just change direction and get us where the government and the people are all working together, rather than finding opposite side of the fence, which is where it's sort of going. Anyway, that's that one. Those were the calibers, those were the cartridges that were banned, which, yes, they're banned. So we're not allowed the brass over here, we're not allowed anything in the rifle over here in the way of the barrel side of it. You could change the barrel to a different thing, get rid of the brass, get rid of all the ammunition had to happen. All that stuff has to go under the laws of a banned cartridge in Western Australia, which is also fairly peculiar, and it would be nice to get to laws where we turn that back around. Can't hope for the impossible, but listen, let's aim as high as we can and see how good we can make it. Anyway, guys, that's like I said, that's a catch up. Links below to some of that sort of stuff, information below. Look at the bottom of the video if you want to be involved in that type of thing. Find out what your state is, talk to the people there, work out what you guys are doing, and yeah, good to stand there and let the world know that listen, we want our country to be what our country was, and less of where it's heading. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you very much for checking in, and we'll catch you next time.